Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm the guy that records on his phone, so you get this flipped the wrong way around. But oh well, just shows I should invest in a proper camera. So we have actually come to the end of not a 1 week special but a 2 week special. So week 300 we were very lucky actually, and I was really happy that we managed to get the almost pretty much the whole original crew of Body Bags to do an OG review of a film. And then for week 301 the current crew come back, and then we do the remake of the OG films that was chosen. Now I've had some great films done over the last 2 weeks. Some really good reviews actually. Really enjoyed watching them. It'd be really great having the old crew back and seeing what they've been doing, and then obviously the new breed coming through. So I was following Moods. He had the Sunday review, the Sunday slot. I actually followed on from Derek, and he was Sundays, but he took on the Monday night slot for this, so Corey followed him. So Moods had the was it 1932, the Old Dark House. So that meant that I had the William Castle, 1963, I think, remake. Yeah, so this is a comedy, horror comedy, whodunit kind of film. And this was a actual Castle Hammer co-production. So as you know, well, maybe not everyone knows that Hammer have been around since the early 1930s, and they struggled. I think they collapsed and then they came back again. But it wasn't until the mid to late 50s where they had their horror renaissance and really pushed that horror that everyone knows so well. And then into the 60s started to seep some other things, and I think that maybe this is one of the reasons why something like this was picked up. So it's horror, but also has comedy elements, and it's like a mystery thriller sort of thing. So yeah, this is like a much lighter tone on the side of horror, and it goes towards being more campy, I suppose, which kind of fits with the time of the 1960s with England. So you'd mix this with elements of Hammer horror, obviously, kind of the more for the tone of the film, the kind of the ambience of what's going on. Mix that with, you had if you need from the UK, you'll know Carry On films. They're very famous, and they made it across the pond and across different parts of Europe. But this kind of feels along the lines of a mixture of some light horror with Carry On mix-ups. And so I've just made a few notes here, so I've literally just finished watching it. And yeah, the two areas never really fuse so well. Yeah, the horror and the comedy, it's misplaced. I think maybe following from the classic of what it is, the Old Dark House, that maybe trying to take this in a bit of a different approach, making it quite humorous. It didn't really work for me. I mean, William Castle, hey, yeah, this is a real pro here. William Castle, I mean, he's a good director. I'm just gonna look for the Apple remote now. Yeah, really good pro here. Yeah, I mean, he's a good director. He's done some good films, but this one, I mean, for me, it kind of was a bit of a miss. And I think with the overall thing with this as well is with suspense and build up. You throw that in with comedy like music cues and stuff. But yeah, for me, it just didn't really click at all. But anyway, kind of the film, we follow an American. He's a car salesman, and he has this rather odd setup with this English gentleman, whereas he stays in the apartment in the night time, and he vacates at the day when he's working, and the Englishman is in at daytime, and when the American comes home, he's not there. So he's done a deal with him to buy a car. So he turns up at the casino where this guy is, and the guy's like, "Don't you find this strange, the setup that we have?" Anyway, he invites him to his house, to his family home, family estate, to explain the situation, and he agrees. But when he turns up, he's dead, and yeah, there's been an accident and he's died, and you meet his family members, like his twin brother, his uncle, his cousins, and there's a whole shebang of people. And you meet them, and one by one you start to learn their backstories and what's happening, and little pieces of puzzles start to like click into place and everything. And yeah, I don't really want to kind of jump to the end of it. I don't want to give the killer away and like what they're doing and all that sort of thing. So it's kind of like, yeah, the generic who done it sort of thing. This family has a pact, and they meet at 11 o'clock each night. I think it's each night, I can't remember now. Anyway, they meet at 11 o'clock, and if they don't, whoever like misses it forfeits their share of the family fortune. And so the first night we have someone missing, and we find them, and they're dead. They've been killed, knitting needles through the neck. But anyway, it's like one by one we start to lose all the family members. And yeah, like I said, I don't really want to give like the whole film away, so we'll kind of leave it there. So towards the end, like the last 10 minutes, you have a let's say it kind of shrouds itself in horror, but there's still comedy elements like thrown into it, like when the main guy is like running around, it's like do his stupid comedy skidding and stuff like that. So yeah, you never kind of really manage to step away from that, but I mean, that's just what this film is. Yeah, just his whole character, kind of our main guy, the American, becomes quite annoying because he's like, well, he's a little bit clumsy, but he's just so awkward, and it's like that awkward, clumsy combination with that kind of, you know how things are, like from that period of people don't take like kind of they have no strength of character, and they're just pushed around. It's like that whole thing is the whole situation. It's yeah, I know it's not realistic, but it's annoying to watch like how he is. And I did find myself like edging towards my phone at certain times because I was getting pretty bored. I mean, there are some interesting characters and a little bit of this, like their stories. Like I think it's the uncle with the ark, because it's like raining and the big storms. Everyone's stuck in the house, and the one guy's building an ark, and 2x2, and all the animals. It's quite amusing. So some bits and pieces like that. But on the whole, it just didn't grab me. The kind of climax did pick up at the end, but just not really enough going on, like for me, and not really like my sort of thing. So I think that's basically it. Oh, there's one thing that there's kind of on the IMDb. There's Charles Adams, the illustrator who did this artwork and the kind of bits of animation in the film. He's actually a really big fan of the OG, and this was he was inspired. All his works inspired kind of from that original film, and so I thought that was pretty cool that they got him on board. But anyway, that's the end of my review. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the OG guys for coming back and doing stellar work, and thank you to the rest of the guys, the current crop, for doing these remakes. Really enjoyed it. So the end of the month we have Mr. Fish, our Friday night reviewer, and he has actually chosen his theme. So I'll get that thumbnail up and we'll paste that around. And then so keep an eye out for that on certain Facebook pages. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.